My name is Ethan, and I have a secret that doesn't quite fit my frame. Standing at 6'2", with a body sculpted by years on the college basketball court and abs that could grate cheese, everyone assumes I'm the one in charge. The truth is, I'm not. I'm also the kind of guy whose needs run high. It wasn't for lack of trying. I'd ventured into the neon buzz of gay bars, but my appearance was a misdirection. The men who approached were invariably delicate, sweet guys who saw me as their protector, not their partner. We were two ships passing in the night, looking for the same port. On the rare occasion I found someone who caught my eye, the night would end in disappointment. The moment I dropped to my knees, ready and waiting, the interest in their eyes would flicker out. In this world, it seemed, finding a man who could handle me was a taller order than finding one who wanted me. After a few deflating encounters, I gave up the search. Online orders and a collection of silicone toys became my solace. It was better this way, I told myself. No awkward goodbyes, no judgmental stares. My plan was simple. Play hard, earn my scholarship money, and after graduation, find a quiet coaching job at a high school. The afternoon sun beat down as we finished practice. A group of us headed towards the dining hall, our path cutting past a dense thicket of trees at the edge of the athletic fields. A rustle in the undergrowth caught my attention. I glanced over just in time to see a flash of pure white disappear into the tall grass. A teammate commented that it was probably just a snake, a normal sight given the campus's green spaces. A few of the guys, ever bold, started poking at the grass with fallen branches, hoping to flush it out. I waved them off, suggesting we just mention it to campus security. It was better for everyone if wild animals were relocated safely. After a fruitless search, I herded my friends along, my mind already on a hot shower and a full meal. The heat of the workout still radiated from my skin, a clean sweat that, combined with a physique like mine, tended to draw attention. Long after we were gone, the grass stirred again. A snake, the color of polished bone, rose from its cover. Its eyes, dark as obsidian, were fixed on Ethan's retreating form. A scent, potent and rich with life, hung in the air around him. The creature had spent 3 days gliding through this campus, observing thousands of humans, but this was the first one whose scent felt like a promise, like home. The serpentine body coiled and uncoiled, a silent, fluid motion. It began to follow. My life was a simple loop: practice, class, food, home. For personal reasons, I had rented an apartment in a complex near campus since freshman year. I kept the place immaculate. So when I unlocked my door and heard a distinct clatter from the balcony, my first thought wasn't of pests. I found it there, the bone-white snake, attempting to slither into my living room. There was no doubt it was the same one. Its color was too striking, too beautiful to be wild. It had to be someone's escaped pet. I snapped a quick photo and posted it to the building's community forum, asking if anyone was missing their pet. The replies were a mix of admiration for my courage and compliments on the snake's beauty, but no one claimed it. I found a large, clear storage container in a closet. Domesticated snakes were usually docile, so I reached for it without hesitation. The snake offered no resistance, but as my fingers closed around its midsection, its tail whipped around my forearm, clinging with surprising strength. The scales were as smooth as river stones, their coolness a pleasant shock against my overheated skin. The creature seemed to enjoy the contact, going limp in my hand, its slender tail twitching once before falling still. I figured my high body temperature, a product of my athletic metabolism, must feel like a furnace to the cold-blooded animal. I tried offering it food, but it refused milk and eggs. A quick search online confirmed my suspicion that it preferred live prey, something my sterile apartment was thankfully lacking. By evening, the online post had yielded nothing. I even printed out flyers and posted them by the mailboxes and at the complex entrance. Still nothing. I found myself sitting on the living room floor, staring at the snake in its temporary enclosure. I wondered aloud if it had been abandoned. As if understanding, the snake flicked its tongue and began pressing against the transparent wall, trying to get to me. It craved my warmth, desperate to close the distance between us. I knew pet snakes could be placid, but this level of attachment felt strange. A flicker of concern made me wonder if it was sick. As I mulled over the idea of a vet visit, the snake seized its opportunity. In a flash of white, it slipped through a gap I'd left for air and zipped under the hem of my shirt. Its cool body glided over my skin, its head nosing insistently toward the waistband of my shorts. The sensation was electric, a foreign texture sliding towards a dangerously sensitive area. I hadn't been with anyone in months, and my body, primed by intense physical training, responded instantly. I stiffened, grabbing the snake by its tail and pulling it out, coiled in midair, fighting the extraction. The sheer power in its small frame convinced me it wasn't sick. I tossed it onto the sofa and strode into the bathroom. I cursed under my breath, looking down at my body's traitorous reaction. A deep, aching emptiness made me swallow hard. My hand reached for a bottle of lubricant on the counter. My gaze swept over a row of implements before landing on one I'd recently purchased. It was shaped like a cobra's head, intricately detailed. I hadn't used it yet. I turned on the shower, letting the steam fill the small room as I stripped. The sculpted silicone felt unnervingly real in my hand. I closed my eyes, ready to lose myself in the fantasy, but something felt wrong. The website had promised a powerful motor, but this felt alive. The texture was too perfect. My eyes snapped open. I tried to move, to look, but my limbs were heavy, boneless, as if I were floating. The air I breathed was searing hot. I managed a weak, questioning sound. My gaze drifted to the steam-fogged mirror. In the reflection, a white serpent was slowly materializing, its coils wrapping around me, pulling me deeper into the haze. I was trapped. The next morning, I almost slept through my alarm. I drifted in and out of consciousness, my throat burning with a thirst that felt elemental. At some point, a cool, sweet liquid had trickled down my throat, soothing the fire. My internal clock jolted me awake at 7:30, but a profound exhaustion pinned me to the mattress. For the first time in years, I wanted to just give up and sleep. Sheer force of will got me sitting upright. A clear, youthful voice spoke from the side of the bed, asking if I was awake. I lowered my gaze, my expression flat. A boy was perched there, leaning over the edge of my bed. He was shirtless, his slender arms and the sharp ridges of his shoulder blades speaking of a delicate youthfulness. But he wasn't human. Below the waist, his body tapered into a magnificent serpent's tail, its opalescent scales shimmering with hints of silver. It should have been terrifying, but it was so breathtakingly beautiful that all I felt was awe. This creature, this spirit, had to be what overpowered me last night. I swung my legs out of bed, a wave of dizziness and a deep ache in my muscles reminding me of the night's events. After a moment, I walked steadily to the bathroom. The boy scrambled after me, his tail making a soft rustling sound on the floor. He asked why I was ignoring him if I was angry. He apologized, explaining that he had been so hungry for so long, he'd lost control. After brushing my teeth, I finally spoke, my voice raspy. I asked him his name, "Finn," he replied with a sunny smile. He explained that he hadn't had a last name before, but he was taking mine now. He declared his love for me, his intention to be my mate. I gave a short, humorless laugh. My approval, it seemed, was not a factor. I stood before him, naked, my body a testament to years of grueling training. By any physical standard, I could have broken this fragile-looking creature in two. He saw my skepticism and his eyes widened. He insisted my body had told him otherwise, that it had welcomed him. I explained it away as a normal biological reaction, nothing personal. He pouted, retorting that he wasn't human, so why should he have to understand human biology? I ignored him and pulled on a loose pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt. I had classes to attend. I may have looked like a simple jock, but my grades were among the best in my department. Seeing my indifference, Finn's expression crumpled. Just as I was about to leave, he transformed, a blur of motion, and in his snake form, he slipped inside the loose collar of my sweatshirt. I froze, a headache already forming. I had gotten myself into something I couldn't get out of. I ordered him to get out. He refused, his voice a sibilant hiss in my mind, insisting he would cling to me forever. I sighed in resignation. If his human form had been even remotely masculine, my reaction might have been different. But it was hard to reconcile the beautiful, androgynous face with the insatiable creature that had overwhelmed me. I was a man, despite my preferences, with a stubborn streak of pride. I didn't like the idea of fighting something that looked so breakable, even if it wasn't. I told him he could stay, but he had to be quiet at school. I warned him that curious humans might want to turn him into soup. He was overjoyed. On the way to campus, he chattered away in my head, telling me about his kind. They were ancient beings from the deep woods, their lives dedicated to finding a mate and achieving their full potential. Finn had been in the human world for a while, but I was the first one whose scent had called to him. It was love at first sight, he insisted. I scoffed at the idea of such a hasty romance. He explained that it was all about the scent, only mine appealed to him. I muttered that he was probably just interested in the scent of one particular part of me. He hummed, the vibration of his body a pleasant tickle against my skin. "Hey, stop moving," I grumbled as I felt myself begin to react. From inside my collar, his small head emerged to rub affectionately against my cheek. He giggled in my mind, telling me I liked him too. I called him an idiot, my voice rough, and casually shifted my backpack to cover the evidence of his effect on me. He stayed with me through my classes, a comforting, cool weight against my skin. During practice, he curled up inside my discarded jacket in the locker, intoxicated by my scent. He had fed last night, so he wasn't physically hungry, but a different kind of craving was already stirring. After the coach dismissed us, I walked to the edge of the court to grab my water bottle and jacket. I paused. A teammate asked if something was wrong. I said it was nothing, my voice steady, and took a long drink of water. In that brief moment of distraction, Finn had already slithered from my jacket and into my sweaty t-shirt. My skin was damp, slick, and to him intoxicating. His voice echoed in my head, a seductive whisper, begging me to let him feed again, promising to make it feel good. I felt his tail coil tightly around my pectoral muscle. I clenched my jaw and hissed back a quiet later. He whined that he was starving, that he couldn't wait. I calmly draped my jacket over my arm, concealing the movements under my shirt. I told my teammates I was going to hit the showers and walked away without waiting for a reply. I never thought I'd be this reckless, nor did I ever imagine being carried bridal style. The moment we were in an empty hallway, Finn transformed. Annoyed with my pace, He simply scooped me into his arms and strode towards the locker room showers. His frame was wiry, his thighs no thicker than my biceps, yet he carried my 200-pound frame as if I were made of cotton. A 6'2" athlete being carried by a much shorter, slender boy was a picture of absurdity, but neither of us cared. He asked if I couldn't have a little self-control. I was just a normal human, not a sexual superhero who could go all night, every night. He looked at me with wide, pleading eyes, reminding me that I had swallowed some of his essence last night. He explained it was changing me, making me stronger. He called it a symbiosis. I remembered the sweet liquid from my fever dream. I told him I didn't appreciate being forced into it. He blinked innocently, saying that when you see something you want, you have to take it before someone else does. He then admitted he wasn't fully a man, but a male serpent. He was still an adolescent, he confessed, and needed a mate's energy to mature. The more I gave him, the faster he would grow. And while he wasn't as large as he would one day be, he pointed out that he had two. The logic was so absurd it was almost convincing. My refusal failed. In the weeks that followed, Finn began to change. He grew more radiant, more solid. He could now hold a fully human form, appearing as a teenager of about 17 or 18. He was beautiful, like a character stepping out of a fantasy illustration. I'd always appreciated attractive men, but he was outside my usual type. Now, a simple wink or a lick of his lips from him was enough to make my entire body tense in anticipation. He hadn't been lying about the symbiosis either. Despite our nightly exertions, I felt more energetic than ever. My coach praised my improved performance, and my teammates swore I'd grown another inch. When we went out, Finn now walked beside me in his human form. People talked. Most assumed I'd hit the jackpot, landing such a stunning partner. Some whispered that a rough guy like me would be too much for someone so delicate. I let them talk. I was still coming to terms with the reality of our dynamic myself. "Can't you just wait?" I hissed, my teeth clenched on the hem of my own t-shirt. We were in a deserted bathroom stall in the library. Finn's obsession with me was all-consuming, and his patience was non-existent. A low groan escaped my lips as he finished. He draped himself over my back, peppering my neck with soft, apologetic kisses. He looked so innocent, so sweet. People who saw us on campus would comment on how lucky I was to have such an adorable boyfriend. If only they knew. I grumbled as I straightened my clothes, pulling my belt extra tight. Finn knew not to push me too far before class, so he just grabbed the edge of my shirt and followed me back to the lecture hall. The professor barely glanced at us as we slipped into our seats. I sighed, opening my textbook. At this rate, I was going to fail my midterms. After class, a teammate invited me out to a bar. I was about to refuse. Bars were frustrating places for me. But then I saw the flash of curiosity in Finn's eyes. The snake boy had grown up in a forest. I decided it was time he saw a bit more of the human world. The bar was in a bustling downtown area. As we got out of the car, we saw a couple nearby, the man carrying his girlfriend on his back. Finn looked on with envy. I was about to ask if he wanted me to carry him when he grabbed my hand and offered to carry me instead. I told him to dream on. I had my pride. As we sat down in a booth with my teammates, the server brought a round of beers. Finn took a sip from my bottle and wrinkled his nose in disgust. I laughed, admitting I didn't care for it either. He leaned in close, his arm linked with mine, and whispered that his grandfather made a delicious fruit wine back home. I smiled and nodded. He watched my face for a moment, then leaned in and gave my earlobe a playful nip. I shot him a look. I asked if he wanted to dance, nodding towards the crowded floor. He yawned and shook his head. Nothing held his interest but me. Suddenly, he sat up straight. I asked him what was wrong. He said he saw someone he knew. I suggested he go say hello, but he refused, explaining that this person used to bully him when they were younger. I frowned, telling him to forget it then. As we sat there, my arm around Finn, his head on my shoulder, I didn't notice the stares we were getting. I told Finn I was heading to the restroom. He immediately perked up, wanting to come along. As we approached the restroom, a voice called my name. I turned. A man I didn't recognize was staring at me. His expression a strange mix of judgment and appraisal. He was tall, well-dressed, with the air of a predator in a business suit. He asked if I was in a relationship now, his tone accusatory. I bristled, asking who he was. In the past, I might have been interested. Now I felt nothing. Finn, sensing the tension, stepped in front of me protectively, though he was too short to fully block the man's view. The man scoffed. He said he didn't realize this was my type. My anger flared. I told him to get lost and tried to pull Finn away, but the man grabbed my arm. He leaned in, his voice a low whisper against my ear. A man like you wants to be taken, doesn't he? Does this fragile little thing really satisfy you? Before the words fully registered, Finn moved. There was a loud smack, and the man went flying, spinning before slamming into the opposite wall. Finn's pupils had turned a blazing gold, a sign of his fury. Fearing a scene, I grabbed him and pulled him out of the bar. Once outside, Finn's anger dissolved into despair. He knew he wasn't fully mature yet, not like the other male of his kind. He asked me, his voice trembling, if he wasn't enough to satisfy me. I felt my scalp tingle with dread. The last thing I needed was for him to get a complex and try to overcompensate. I assured him that wasn't the issue at all, that the guy was a lunatic. I told him he was more than enough. He looked at me, unconvinced. He told me to prove it. Here. Now. He wanted me to take him in his human form. I hesitated. We were in a dim, deserted alley behind the bar, a place synonymous with sordid activities. I didn't want an audience, but my reluctance was misinterpreted as disgust. Finn's lower lip trembled, and his golden eyes filled with tears. He just stared at me, a silent, stubborn accusation in his gaze. Couldn't stand it. I threw my hands up in surrender. It wasn't the first time we'd been reckless. I ripped my t-shirt off over my head and unbuckled my belt in one smooth motion. Finn swallowed hard, his eyes tracing the lines of my stomach as he reached out a trembling hand to touch my abs. I leaned back against the cold brick wall, letting him explore. But as he shed his own clothes, I saw the problem. He followed my gaze down to where his transformation was incomplete. He apologized, saying his energy wasn't stable enough to maintain a perfect human form yet. He asked if a small part of him remaining in his natural state was really a problem. It was a problem. I woke up the next morning feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. I vaguely remembered Finn carrying me home. The thought of that spectacle, me being princess carried through the streets, was more horrifying than anything else that had happened. Finn was asleep beside me, looking utterly peaceful. I poked his nose, muttering about how he was going to be the death of me, then padded to the kitchen. He didn't need human food, but he always ate whatever I cooked for him. As I poured milk into a saucepan, my face flushed as I remembered his disappointed comment about my inability to produce a similar substance. The doorbell rang, a jarring sound in the early morning quiet. No one ever visited me. I walked to the door, spatula in hand. A tall stranger stood on my doorstep. He was handsome, with dark hair and dark eyes, but he had a familiar, primal aura about him. "Hello," the man said, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. "My name is Kale. Is your little friend awake yet?" Finn emerged from the bedroom, yawning, and instinctively wrapped his arms around my waist, rubbing his face against my back. He opened his eyes and froze, staring at Kale. His first reaction was to try and slam the door shut. I was completely lost. Finn denied knowing him, but Kale's voice suddenly came from the sofa behind us. He had appeared in the living room in the blink of an eye. He chided Finn for being so rude to an old friend. Finn yelled at him for barging into our home. Kale just smiled, patted the cushion next to him, and told us to sit down. He explained to me that he was like Finn, only his natural form was black, and, he added with a wink, much more handsome. Finn immediately went on the defensive, trying to push me back into the bedroom as if Kale would steal me away. I knew Kale wasn't interested in me. He was just enjoying riling Finn up. This had to be the bully from the bar. Kale ended up staying the entire day, lounging on our sofa while Finn fumed. He seemed to find Finn's protective jealousy endlessly amusing. I stayed out of it, but my loyalty was with Finn. After dinner, I joined Finn in asking our guests to leave. Kale finally stood, stretching languidly. "Relax," he said to Finn as he left. "My taste isn't like yours. I'm not into muscle-bound jocks. Too much work." Before Finn could explode, Kale turned serious for a moment. "Your heat is coming soon, isn't it? Make sure your partner is prepared. He's a student. He'll need to take some time off." He glanced at me. "It's going to be intense for you, but you look like you can handle it." And with that, he was gone. I turned to Finn, my eyes narrowed. He looked down, fiddling with his fingers. He admitted that he was close to his first maturation cycle. It would last for about a week, he said, and during that time his needs would be significant. He'd be unable to let me leave the apartment. "A week?" I repeated, taking a deep breath. "A full week." I wondered if I would survive. That night, my fate was sealed. As Finn lay curled contentedly on my chest after our usual activities, a sudden heat flushed through his body. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with surprise. His heat, he whispered, had come early. Before I could process it, his human form dissolved into a massive coil of white serpent. The snake's eyes were emotionless, ancient. I wasn't sure if the Finn I knew was even in there anymore. I grabbed my phone with a trembling hand to text my coach and request a medical leave. I was in for a long week. It was more than a week. I lost all track of time. Day and night bled into one another in a haze of sensation. I never felt hunger or thirst, only a constant, overwhelming need. My skin was so sensitized that a mere breath of air could send shudders of pleasure through me. When consciousness finally returned, the world felt distant and muffled. My phone lay on the nightstand. I saw a message thread where Finn, posing as me, had requested an extension on my leave. A strong arm wrapped around me from behind, pulling me against a solid chest. The body was bigger than mine now, broader and taller. Finn was an adult. My voice was a croak when I asked if he was tired. He wasn't. He felt incredible, he said, kissing my shoulder. I turned over to look at him. He was breathtaking. His hair was as white as his scales had been, and his eyes remained a startling gold. He was a god carved from marble. Then he opened his mouth. "Sorry, babe. I actually matured a few days ago. You were just too delicious to let go." I flicked him on the forehead, muttering that I'd enjoyed it too. Life settled into a new routine. A national championship was approaching, and I was a key player on the university team. The training was relentless. Finn, bless him, understood. He seemed to know that our physical connection wouldn't drain me, but seeing me exhausted after practice every day, he held back. He tried to help around the house, but he burned dinner and broke the mop. His most useful contribution was transforming into his human form at night to hold me while I slept. With my focus on the game, my own needs were on the back burner, and we entered a period of surprising chastity. He also preferred to accompany me in his snake form again. A comforting weight coiled around my torso under my clothes. Kale showed up one more time while I was at practice. He handed Finn a debit card. He said their elders insisted. It wasn't right for a mate to be the sole provider. He told Finn that he hadn't experienced the joy of spending money on a loved one. His tournament is almost over, Kale said. If he wins, don't you think he deserves a gift? The idea took root. Finn, who had learned about human relationships from watching television, decided to try it. While I was at a closed training camp, he went to a shopping mall. He was aimlessly wandering, unsure what to buy, when he passed a lingerie store. He stopped dead in his tracks. A display of black lace and silk caught his eye. An image of me, his brawny athlete, dressed in the delicate fabric, flashed through his mind. Before he knew it, he was inside, purchasing several items in my size. He reasoned that since he'd already bought them, he might as well use them. They would be the perfect way to celebrate my victory. The night I came home with the championship trophy, the celebration party was still in full swing when Finn spirited me away. I walked into our apartment to find it lit by candles, and laid out neatly on the bed were several new outfits. The amount of fabric was minimal. After months of enforced celibacy for the sake of the game, my body reacted instantly. Finn came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. He buried his face in my neck, inhaling deeply. "Your scent is so strong, baby," he murmured, his teeth grazing my earlobe. "Now hurry up and change. You've earned your reward."